Good morning, beautiful people. It is Wednesday, July 15th, 2020. And today, by 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will know what players are being franchise tagged for this upcoming NFL season. That's definitely going to happen. Definitely going to happen, right?
Definitely.
Right,
definitely.
yeah, definitely. A lot of question marks all around that. Not a lot of question marks on who's going to get a long-term deal and who is not. We talked to Ian Rappaport yesterday, the insider for NFL Network, and he said there hasn't been a lot of smoke around long-term deals happening for these franchise tag players. Now, granted, Jason Peters got swung into offensive guard yesterday with some news out of nowhere, and Chris Stone Cold Jones, who is allegedly going to be, or is going to be on a franchise tag, got a long, massive deal, a 4-year deal for the Kansas City Chiefs, which none of us expected to be able to happen because we don't know how the Kansas City Chiefs seem to have more money than anybody else in the NFL at the current time. Will they run into salary cap issues in the near future? Everybody with a brain would say yes, but I also like to think that Veach and Andy Reid are doing some magical things over there. The Patrick Mahomes deal got done. Chris Jones, who is their D tackle, the number 2 D tackle in the NFL behind Aaron Donald, who's maybe the perennial greatest defensive tackle in the history of the game. He said that he would not play this year unless they got a long-term deal done. They make that happen. They sign Patty Mahomes. The Kansas City Chiefs now have a pillar on their offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball for the next upcoming years. Will that help them build a dynasty? Nobody knows. What will the future hold? Nobody knows. 4 p.m. today, we learn a lot, though. Dak Prescott was allegedly offered a $33 to $35 million a year contract yesterday by the Dallas Cowboys for 5 years, which is what the Cowboys have been steadfast on. He wants a 4-year deal. It is alleged to have $100 million in guarantees. So you do the math, $33 to $35 million, $100 million in guarantees. That means 3 of the 5 years would be guaranteed for Dak Prescott. Instead, he could sit around, sign for 31.4, which he did on June 22nd, and keep that through 4 p.m. Eastern time today, and then get another like 37 next year, which would be $69 million guaranteed in 2 years there. If you look at just the numbers and some math, you can see why Dak would not accept that deal. Maybe they'll be able to make some magic happen today by 4 o'clock. Now, there's 2 players that have not signed a franchise tag yet, okay? Yannick Ngakoue of the Jacksonville Jaguars, he has demanded a trade and even got into a Twitter beef with Tony Khan, the son of Shad Khan, who created the Pool Paradise Stadium down there in Duval. It seems to be an ugly situation between those two. He has not signed a franchise tag and has demanded to get traded. I don't think the Jaguars are looking to do that. Will he sign? He does not have to sign by today at 4 o'clock. He can sign whenever. If it goes into the season, I think he loses a little bit off the franchise tag. But today is the deadline for the Jaguars to figure out something with him if they want to, even though he said he wants the hell out of there. And Cincinnati Bengals, A.J. Green, whose franchise tag would be worth $18.171 million at the wide receiver position. He did not play all last year. They lost a lot of games last year. Everybody knows they do not have an indoor practice facility in Cincinnati. He has not signed that. No signs have said that they're going to negotiate a long-term deal. And does A.J. Green want a long-term deal? There's a guy who ridiculously talented, respected by his peers. Corners talk about how good he is. And he's been playing in Cincinnati his entire career and never says a single word. Super quiet, doesn't bitch or complain about anything. And everybody that knows him says, hey, A.J. Green is just here to work. He has not signed a franchise tag. Maybe he's trying to put a little bit of pressure on the Bengals to sign him to a long-term deal. Or maybe he wants the hell out of there. Now, remember, you can't get traded if you don't sign a franchise tag, because if you don't sign a franchise tag, when you're offered a franchise tag, you technically don't have a contract with anybody, which means you're almost unemployed. Can't be traded if you're unemployed. They would have to sign that. We'll go through all of the franchise tags that are hitting today, at least by 4 o'clock. We'll also talk about Bill Belichick eating Subway sandwiches.
Legend.
On a bench next to a road. He's won an Emmy this year with the NFL Top 100 show alongside Rich Eisen on the NFL Network. He has his dog drafting for him. Now he's doing Subway commercials. I believe we are in not only a brand new era for Patriots football without Tom Brady, the most handsome human to maybe ever play football, but now we are in a brand new Belichick era, and I think that'll lead to the conversation that Cam Newton had on Odell Beckham Jr.'s YouTube page, where Cam Newton, as soon as he heard that the Patriots were interested, said, wait a minute, how are me and Bill gonna mesh? And a lot of people on ESPN this morning said, and a lot of people I respect their brains said it this morning on ESPN, they said as soon as you think like how are me and Bill going to mesh, you're already putting yourself at Bill's level. That is not what Bill, but you're going to mesh well if you do what Bill tells you to do and do your job, blah, blah, blah. And I can understand that sentiment from a lot of people who are saying that about Cam Newton. But for those that don't think that the head coach and the quarterback have to be on the same page, I think that you have no idea what you're talking about. Even if you look at the video of Tom Brady in Bill Belichick's office every single week, I guess they would go in there. Remember, Belichick works with the defense, McDaniels works with the offense, but every single week, Tom and Bill would meet, they'd sync up, they'd talk about players. There's the legendary Ed Reed clip where they talk about what Ed Reed has done. So Bill Belichick and his head coach getting along and seeing eye to eye, just like it is on every single or in his quarterback, every single team is a big deal. So I think Cam Newton asking, how are me and Bill going to mesh is a great question. And I think if you look at the current Bill Belichick, which seems to be a new Bill Belichick, which could be a Bill Belichick 2.0 Bill Belichick with the Patriots Dynasty 2.0 Patriots up there, I think they're going to be quite a team. And there's a lot of people saying, well, Jared Stidham's going to be the starting quarterback. You know that. And maybe that'll be true. I don't think it's the right opinion to have at this current moment because it's Cam Newton, okay? And no offense to Jared Stidham. Obviously, he was a backup to the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. And no offense to Jared Stidham's film, which is him just throwing pick sixes and stuff like that. No offense to that. And no offense to Jared Stidham's college resume, which I didn't even know he really existed, but we went to the same school, though, as Cam Newton. So no offense to any of that. This is just Cam Newton. And if Cam Newton, what Cam Newton said about his conversation with McDaniels, where he said, like, hey, you're going to be able to call things you've never been able to call before. And McDaniels was asking about what you're following. You know you're following great. It seems like McDaniels and Cam, that conversation, like you know what you're following and you're going to be able to call. It seems like there is an understanding there because they all have football brains that Cam Newton will be the starter. And I think that is probably going to be the case. But who knows? I mean, maybe Jared Stidham starts. Maybe they, you know what, since they're only paying him $1 million, maybe they cut Cam Newton. Maybe Cam Newton doesn't even make the team up there. Maybe that's the way it goes. That's how some people are talking, it feels like, in the media, and it makes no sense. I understand you have to have those takes so you can say dumb things so numbers go up. But Cam Newton is going to be an absolute game wrecker for the Patriots, and I think everybody's going to be scared about it. I can't wait to see what they put together, but them meshing is something that he should talk about. The AFL, Aussie Rules Football, they are about to have a 19-day run with 33 games straight through here. So if you are fiending or itching for a sport that has contact, a sport that has electricity, and a sport that has dudes bombing footballs with both feet and precision, for the next 19 days, the AFL is going to have 33 games on. And I'll tell you what, not a bad time to go ahead and throw yourself in the deep end like that lady did to that baby on the internet a couple days ago.
Starts on July 29th. So that'll be like the same time that the NBA and NHL is starting. So basically, we're gonna have sports all day long.
Oh, so it's not starting now?
No.
So it's not really news then?
It came out this morning, 3 hours ago.
No, they shouldn't have done that. People are going to forget by July 29th. I mean, that's 2 weeks from now. The internet's dead. It's all right, AFL. July 29th, they started. Nobody cares about that right now.
Right before the NBA.
Why are they even announcing that right now? AFL, let's talk. Listen, the only way you're going to spread in America is via the internet, right? I mean, that is your entire thing. The internet forgets what happened 2 hours ago, let alone pitching something 14 days. But I'll let you know, July 29th, I can't wait for the 30 or 19 straight days of 33 games. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be tough to find time to sleep whenever you got the AFL, the NHL, the NBA, the MLS, and potentially football camp, NFL camp happening with a lot of stories coming out of there. That is not that far from now, and who knows if any of them are going to be on pace to continue that trend. Hopefully we'll be able to get through it all. We just need that bubble down in Orlando to be locked down.
Scare it.
All the boys are here at Nick Morado. How's it going? Wearing your Pittsburgh Penguins cheat code shirt. It feels like the Pens are probably ramping up to win a COVID Cup here. Can't wait for Lord Stanley's COVID Cup to make a trip back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Fired up, Pat. Crosby's out on the ice. Practice footage has come out of him in the training camp, lighting it up. We're ready to go. Kicking it off on August 1st. They're taking on the Canadians. Can't wait.
I am pumped because they got the Pittsburgh Penguins on. They released the schedule for the NHL, and everybody knows that if you want to move the needle, you put the Pittsburgh Penguins at prime time. Day one, it starts out at noon with the Rangers. Then you got the Blackhawks at 3. Then you got the Panthers and Islanders. And then at 8 p.m., prime time television, you got the Canadians and the Pittsburgh Penguins, and then 10:30 late night game, which I would assume will be over in Edmonton. Calgary Flames playing host there. I'll be intrigued to see how this all works out. But 12, 3, 4, 8, and 10:30, they got games, and that's going to be every day for a while.
Every day. A lot of hockey to take in.
Oh, you're just
all day long.
You're just bonging hockey.
Straight to the face.
You're putting 10 beers in that thing. Okay, you're putting 10 beers in that thing. Yep. And if you're a hockey person, you're just trying to take it all. Go, 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 go. And at some point, by the way, whenever you got like terrible teams on, like everybody other than the Penguins, you're gonna vomit that out. And NBA is gonna be the same damn way. I think they got games like every couple hours as well.
Yep.
This is going to be tough. This is going to be insane. And that means we're going to be making a lot of money gambling and taking from our friends FanDuel, because right here, big brains going on in this particular office. And we know everything that's going to happen. We know everything that's going to happen at all times, except for if it's actually going to happen. Nobody knows if any of this is actually going to happen. Right. It's only a couple weeks away. What's up, at Tone Diggs?
On August 1st, the NBA has games at 1, 3:30, 6, 7, and 8:30.
It's going to be tough. You're going to need more TVs. You need more TVs.
Double up.
And picture in picture. The TVs still do picture in picture. Remember, that had a little bit of a run there. For a while.
Yeah.
The younger generation won't, I don't think, appreciate or respect this enough. The picture in picture, when that came to the world, boy, when I went to somebody's house and they had picture in picture, I'm like, these people must make $40 million a year. We got two things on, the sound's on one. And then that kind of just fizzled out. The picture in
They
picture.
do it on the guide now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the
So, like,
cable companies have
Yeah,
it.
so when you look at like the guide and other shows, it'll show you the show right there and then, right?
Not mine, at Viva Lazito, though. Maybe I have it turned off. Do I have to turn that on somehow?
What do you have?
I think I'm Comcast.
Xfinity.
Yeah.
I think there is that option because I know like DirecTV will still do, especially for like golf events. Like,
See, I had to get rid of DirecTV because remember it used to freeze literally in the middle of every single big event.
Yeah.
National championship locked at halftime. Can't see the second half. Why? Because my TV's frozen. Super Bowl. Can't see anything after the middle of the first quarter. Why not? Because my TV's locked down because the satellite's frozen. Oh, how's it going? You guys, grocery games going well? Well, lock it down. Not going to be able to get through it. That is why I moved from DirecTV. But now I'm realizing there's problems everywhere.
The best part of all this is Saturday, August 1st, you have absolutely nothing going on. You could just sit back and watch and take in all these sports happening all at once.
Saturday, August 1st, these sports mean nothing, obviously, in the grand scheme of things. You guys ever heard of love, man?
Oh, yeah.
Best day of your life.
Yeah.
Best day of my life.
Best day of your life.
Best day of my life.
Can't wait.
Not because there's any sports. And by the way, you think that's funny? Wait till I'm looking around checking everybody, see if they got their little phones out. Listen, if I'm doing the love thing, you guys, I would like a little bit of support for the love thing. Okay? I don't want anybody knowing anything that's going on with the 16 professional sports games that are happening the exact same day. I don't want anybody knowing anything about it, okay? We are there for love and for holy matrimony. Although I don't think it's going to be very holy because I don't think we're doing religion in the whole thing. But matrimony, forever's a long time, okay? Your little sports, okay? Your little sports you guys are talking about after this massive hiatus and potentially one of the most electric days of sports in the history of sport, you guys aren't watching it because I'm in love. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's and you're all gonna be there. I just want to let you know.
Can't wait.
Wait till there's 12 of us and we're sitting all in a row instead of like sitting in a group together, and we each have each other's phones taped to their backs.
Yeah, just like that commercial. Everybody's just kind of there. Yeah, I do. Okay. There you go. Yes.
Are we allowed to be upset with Rappaport because he basically broke the Chris Jones and Myles Garrett news yesterday, like 2 hours after he was on here.
Yeah,
He probably
got
had
the
an
text on the
inkling.
show.
Yeah, but he also, I said, hey, is any big news going to come? I'm like, is there anything you could allude to? You know, like, is there anything that maybe could be coming or whatever? And he said, no, not really anything.
big.
But I guess you do have to kind of hold that close to the vest or whatever, because you don't know if anybody else is potentially watching, trying to get your scoops, because Tony Scoops would have scooped that scoop.
Yeah.
But I am a little bit upset that he chose not to break any news on our show yesterday. Was that his first time on our show?
Second, maybe. I don't know if he's ever been on the live show before.
I have talked to him before. I
Yeah.
just didn't know if he was on the show or not. I enjoyed the conversation. It looked like he was in a basement, though, for sure. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like down in a basement.
Yeah.
His internet service was a lot better than some people that we've talked to. But, I mean, it looked like he was down in the basement. And the way he talked about being an insider, what his life is like, stressful. At Ty Schmidt, Aaron Jones will be joining us today, running back for the Green Bay Packers at 11:15 a.m., second hour, 15 minutes into it. Aaron Jones was ranked a 90 on Madden, okay? 90 90 on Madden, which is higher than Aaron Rodgers. But when top 50 or 50 personnel, executive scouts, and coaches were polled for ESPN, he was not in the top 10 running backs. And he said he has a mountain on his shoulder now. I wonder if in the second round, when the Green Bay Packers drafted a running back after he just had a career year, if that also put the chips on his shoulder, if we're going to see potentially the best Aaron Jones we've ever seen over there for the Packers.
Yeah, I mean, I think we will. It's not like the guy had 23 touchdowns last year total, and led the NFL or anything like that. So there was reason to, use a second-round pick on a running back and kind of, start the process of pushing him out of town as well. So, no, yeah, I'm excited to see what he says, see what that the chip on his shoulder is like. Hopefully he's the best version of himself this year.
Did Gutekunst bring in Aaron Jones? No.
No, I think he was there. I think, because McCarthy was still there when
2017 was his
when he got
first
drafted.
So this is classic. This is classic. Okay, and I guess you can't blame people whenever you look from it like a 13,000-foot view, I guess, if you really look at the entire thing, as Gutekunst being a human and LaFleur being a human. They want to be able to say that this is their team. They built it in their eyes. So when it's successful, there isn't any McCarthy brought in your two stars, Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones, and this and that, right? This is what happened for the Colts. I mean, it was obvious when the new regime came in, they wanted to eliminate everything that came before them because they wanted to be able to say, we built this team. This is our team. We've always had dreams of running a team. This is what we would do and stuff like that. Now, granted, did it work out? There were some players we probably should have kept and should not have gotten rid of, and there's still some players that are still playing that were told that they were too old at the time that they shouldn't play and kind of got run out of town. But I think it's all ego. It's 100% ego. It's 100% a pride thing, and it's 100% so they could say, this is the team that I built, nobody else. But I feel like that's a pretty immature way to look at it as opposed to saying, hey, I took a team that was there and made it this team, which he could have done.
Right.
Instead, it's like, I would like to build this team in my eyes. But it does feel like he's pushing Aaron Jones out, and obviously our guy Aaron Rodgers feels like he's getting pushed the hell out as well.
And does it even matter? Because wouldn't it still be a hell of an accomplishment if it's like, hey, we took Rodgers in like the second phase of his career to, more success? Like it's almost like you could look at it like two different ways.
That would make a lot of sense.
Right.
That would be a very good way to look at it.
You would think.
But you got to remember, meatheads are meatheads, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? And football is filled with meatheads. And I'm not saying Gutekunst is a meathead because I think that's something you have to earn that title. Like meathead is. But I would assume that Gutekunst has this ego a little bit that he's like, I want to put the team together how I want to put the team together. And I'm sure LaFleur, who is a known offensive genius before he got to the Packers, he probably has his ideas as well. Like, hey, that running back, who's going into a contract year, who's probably going to play out of his mind even more so than he did last year because of that. Let's go ahead and make sure he knows that he's not getting paid here in the future. We're going to draft for the second round, and we have another guy already in the books. So.
Yeah, that should do wonders for his confidence going into this year. So,
well, he put a mountain on his shoulder, he said, because the 50 personnel, but like the 50 personnel people that had Aaron Rodgers voted low, we assume Gutekunst has a pretty large. Those 50 personnel people might have all been in the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, well, and it also turns out, when you get ranked really high and then your own guy ranks you at like 40, 45, that really takes the average down quite a bit.
Yeah,
so.
Gutekunst kind of ruined it.
Yeah, he did. Smartest guy in the room.
Jason
always.
McAfee's here. Speaking of smartest guy in the room, at Viva Lazito is here. What's going on, Zeke? You look fantastic.
Just hanging out.
At Evan Foxy, looking great, fella. And on the phones, 1-833-622-3331 at Boston Connor.
Jared Stidham might be the starting quarterback for about a half hour on day one, and that's about as long as it'll last.
You're the one that's been giving me updates from the sports people up in Boston, and you said that there's been an alarming amount of people who don't think Cam Newton's going to be the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots up there.
Alarming. And it just doesn't make sense because it's you watch one video of the guy, he's like 6'8", he's massive. Why wouldn't you want him with the ball in his hands?
Well, the question for me is, why wouldn't you want him to potentially get any like early rust off or troubles in the system out early, like in those first couple weeks, right? Because Bill Belichick has been one of the most patient humans. Like, hey, where we're at right now is not where we're going to be in December. Like, we are still trying to find our best team. You remember Chiefs blew the doors off of the Patriots opening night, and there was no worry. There was no sense of anything from the Patriots organization. It was just like, yeah, this is what this. Nothing matters, by the way, until December, January. That's what we're playing for. We were playing for December, January. I don't know why you would want Jared Stidham in there unless he's your guy. Now, listen, unless they see Jared Jarrett Stidham as their guy. And if they do, I don't think they would have brought Cam Newton in. But if Cam Newton's your guy, why wouldn't you want those first 4 weeks to be like the learning curve? Like, hey, even take some lumps maybe. It might not look good. It might not look smooth. But, boy, now we have 12 more games here where Cam Newton can kind of get on a roll here, and let's get him hot going into playoffs, which is the only thing that matters. That feels like it's much more of a New England Patriot mindset than anything else, but I could be wrong, and I assume those people that live up in the area up there know a lot more than I do about football.
I doubt that, but also, whenever we started last year 8-0, best start we've had in I think like the past 10 years. Finish 4-4. I'd rather start slow than kick it into gear in the beginning. It stinks.
I would say the best thing, and I've been a part of a team that did this, is just go wire to wire. That is pretty cool.
That'd be good,
and then we lost to Drew Brees though. So did any of it matter if we could have won undefeated all the way to the Super Bowl, which a team that has done that, and then you lose in the Super Bowl? I guess it doesn't matter. At the end, it doesn't. You could be the Giants and almost have Tom Coughlin fired middle of the season. He's almost getting pushed out the door, then get hot and beat an undefeated team in a Super Bowl. I mean, the only measure for success in this business is the Super Bowl. So if the first couple weeks, do they matter? I guess not, because if you have injury concerns or somebody gets hurt or somebody gets healthy at the right time or somebody gets hot, none of it matters. But it feels like you would want Cam Newton to potentially find his stride whenever things start to matter, because he's Cam Newton. And I think the amount of disrespect that has been thrown out there on Cam Newton's name, maybe I'm the wrong one. And I'm not saying everybody's been disrespectful. I think Cam Newton has taken it that way, which I like even more, which is kind of what I said whenever his first workout video came after the Carolina Panthers released him. It's like, this seems like a guy who is a bit motivated in a different space. Yeah. And you got to remember, Cam Newton runs on emotions. Like, he is an emotional guy. Like, he runs on emotions. And everybody's like, well, you can't be emotional. Well, there's been a lot of very successful people in sports that run on emotion. Some people are robots. Some people are emotional. So it's just, there's different ways to kind of do things. He is a very emotional guy. After he scores a touchdown, there's an entire celebration. The Super Bowl situation, you look at the press conference, it wasn't like he was just a robot and went out and give candid answers. Like, he rides the wave of emotion. It has led him to a lot of great things. An MVP season, a Heisman, a national championship, a Super Bowl. I mean, it has done a lot of things for him. So once you talk about an emotional guy feeling offended or disrespected, you would hope that he could turn those emotions and anger into a little bit of drive and motivation. And when you got Bill Belichick, the greatest coach in the history of the game, maybe directing and guiding that, it feels like this is going to be a success story, that all these people asking if it's going to work or not is going to be like, I think I was stupid for even asking that question. It's Bill Belichick, it's Cam Newton, it's Josh McDaniels, and obviously it's big old bag of bones Ernie Adams up in the sky.
Oh, yeah.
Which
and
people forget.
Cam Newton's already circling teams on the calendar. He's like, oh, they passed on me. I could have gone there. No one's more motivated than him.
And Bill is eating Subway sandwiches. Yes. Cannot go understated. Intern Mitt is here as well, looking fantastic. How's it going, Mitt?
Going very well.
Okay. You've been doing something on a video game that I know nothing about. What is this? You're playing as a high school. You were a high schooler, I think, on a video game?
Oh, yeah. High schooler, mullet mitt. We're going into the playoffs. Playoff game number 1 tonight. It's going to be pretty fun.
So you're playing high school football on a video game?
Oh, yeah.
How's that work?
It's NCAA 14, a pretty old game, but it's one season, senior year. Trying to decide where I'm going.
Oh, who's on the table?
We got Ohio State, West Virginia. We're keeping Colorado in there, and then Ball State and Purdue. I might stay home. I don't know.
Don't do it.
Well, and also if you lose in the playoffs, I feel like Ohio State and West Virginia are probably going to drop out anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm. I got to keep Ball State and Purdue around just because hometown.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, but we very much understand that we've known you a little bit. Purdue's academics is going to be tough for you.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be that. I think it's not that you're dumb, but it takes a lot of effort. I think Purdue takes a lot of effort academically.
Actually, coming out of high school, I got waitlisted at Purdue.
What's that mean?
Well, no surprise.
I ended up getting in, but
You're too heavy.
Yeah, but if you got in, you wouldn't have stayed.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah, no. Yeah. They're like engineers. Like Purdue is like a very, very, I think,
public Ivy.
It's a difficult school that I think requires a lot of effort. And for you, with how good of a quarterback you are, especially as mullet mid, you don't have time for, hey, do we get paid for the school? No, you're not on scholarship for the school. I think that is very much mullet mid's mindset.
He asked if he could read an ad read today.
You can't. You can't. That's just. I mean, maybe. Hold on. Let's see.
Well, I said you can't even read your own notes.
That's what we're talking about. But maybe,
maybe it's the notes, though.
It does feel like something that, so everybody's holding up their ads trying to get rid of them right now in the room. So you could take these, buddy. 23 minutes after that, we got to get to a break. David Ferrie joins us on the other side.
Yes.
Golf legend.
Go.
David Ferrie. 25 years this guy's been broadcasting the golf. You know how long Tiger's been a professional? 24 years. So Ferrie has literally rode the wave of Tiger Woods, maybe to golf's peak in popularity with Tiger Woods. Now, Tiger's coming back for the tournament this weekend. What is this here?
This was sent in by a listener. This is the Late Night Special Band.
I don't want to talk over it. We got David Ferrie on the other side. This guy's got an incredible voice. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Wednesday, July 15th. I was on a team that was very bad at football. We almost were completely defeated until Dan Orlovsky showed up and got 2 big wins. We ended up almost losing the luck pick because Dan Orlovsky, everybody thinks they're going to get fired. Every player thinks they're going to get cut. Every coach thinks they're going to get fired. They try to pawn blame off on other positional groups. If it's the linebackers, they're like, we did our job. D-line can't do anything, can't stop it. There's a lot of that chatter, but it's a miserable existence. I mean, it's just the way it is. That's why you have to have so much respect for a player like Joe Thomas, who played a perennial all-pro career in a situation that was so negative and so terrible. I think if Joe Thomas got a chance and his knees let him experience a winning organization, I couldn't even fathom what Joe Thomas would have thought. I mean, life is just much better whenever you win. When you win, food tastes better. Drinks taste better. Sex feels better. Everything is better when you win. Winning cures all, they say. That's not just in the building and for a football team. That's in your life. Everything is just better when you win. And when you lose, especially when you're talking about some of the most competitive humans on earth, it is a nightmare. You got a lot of people trying to jump off the ship. You got a lot of people trying to figure it out. And whenever you're in a situation like that, it's just a full-blown nightmare for everybody. You got to think, when you get to the NFL, let's assume that the humans that make it to the NFL have had a lot of success through their lives. Mm-hmm. High school football, probably one good player, a guy who's going to make the NFL can lead a team to success. In college, if you have a couple good players that can make the NFL and make it to the Dolphins, even though the Dolphins stink, you're still going to make the NFL. Let's assume that team has had success. So then you get to a completely unsuccessful operation, a completely defeated operation, and then it's like, man, this is a whole new life for us. I'll never forget, I had a coach, special teams coach. I won't say his name because this is a terrible thing to say as a coach. We lost the game. It was back in the first regime. We were a good team. We lost the game, and everybody was moping. You know, like people were not happy that we lost the game the next day. He was, you guys just haven't lost enough. That's what he said. Everybody looked at him and was like, yeah, no crap. What are you talking about, dude? Yeah, this is the winningest decade in NFL history here. Yeah, you haven't lost enough. It's like, you've lost too much, maybe. Are you just comfortable at this point? And that's whenever it can get a little scary. Whenever people are just comfortable just getting their asses kicked every week, that could be a problem. That's when the culture is probably a lost cause. That's when the locker room's too worried about playing dice or playing Boo-Ray or anything else like that. When that starts happening after losses, then you know you're in a bad spot. And I would assume that's not happening at the Dolphins, especially under Ryan Fitzpatrick's watch. But maybe it is. I don't know. But that is a miserable existence. I am not a fan of that.
Are you guys prepared to unveil your summer bodies? I know you are because you've been using Manscaped. Manscaped is dedicated to helping you level up your full body grooming game. They have the forever changed the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0. Perfect Package 3.0 kits comes with Essential Lawnmower 3.0, waterproof, cordless body trimmer, and a ton of other stuff. Subscribe to get the perfect package and get a new blade refill for your lawnmower trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months. And 2 free gifts, Shed Travel Bag and the patent high-performance reduced chafing men's boxer briefs. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code PATM at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with code PATM at manscaped.com.
Hey, you're damn right, Diggs. That was a good sell there. Shout out to manscaped.com. Joining us now is a legend. He's an analyst for the NBC Sports and Emmy-nominated host on Golf Channel. He's been doing PGA Tour live tournament broadcasts for the past 25 years.
What?
David's self-titled Ferrie series also is scheduled to resume in its 10th season on July 27th, with the show airing Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the Golf Channel. Ladies and gentlemen, golf legend David Ferrie.
Oh dear. Hey, just talking about manscaping there, I've spent so much time trying to keep 6 feet between me and the refrigerator, and it hasn't worked. And my body looks like a ruptured sofa. and manscaping is difficult, when you've got so many lumps and like soft creases and bulges, but, I'm making an attempt at it.
Well, you're a bag of potatoes at this point, David. We all are. You gotta this lawnmower 3.0. It's smooth. It's like butter coming. It's like hot butter coming right off. It'd be no problem, even if you got a beat up body over there.
Yeah, I got one. It's really good.
It actually is very good. I'm happy this is how our conversation started. I've learned a lot about you. I want to ask you this one simple question. I've gotten into golf here a little bit more as I've gotten older and things like that. What makes golf the best sport on earth, do you think? I mean, what is it? Is it the intensity? Is it the precision? Is it how you have to be good for so long? What do you think makes golf the best sport on earth?
I think it's because it's so addictive. It's as much of a drug as it is a sport. And you see people all the time that say, golf, it's so slow and it's not interesting and whatever. And then when you get them to try it, it's too difficult. But then they hit that one shot that comes out of the middle of the club face and soars up into the air. It holds against the blue sky for a little bit and it comes down. It might even spin a little bit.
Oh.
It's like, I don't know. It's like no other sport. When being able to control an object over such long distances gives you such a sense of achievement.
For 25 years, you've been covering the golf here. And that is, you don't look like it, by the way. You look like you've been covering it for about 5-10 years now. You look amazing, David.
I feel like that.
But for 25 years, that's basically the same exact length as Tiger Woods' career here, 24 years. So you've gotten a chance to kind of watch the Tiger kind of take golf to its peak in popularity there for a while. And then kind of he disappears, and now he kind of comes back. He's playing in the tournament this weekend, obviously. Anytime Tiger's playing, it's crazy, 24 years, and I would assume there's a heightened excitement around everybody at the golf course, including yourself and the other golfers.
There is, and it shows itself even in the logistics of the golf tournament. They have to hire more security staff, more parking. They have to have more parking space. There are more cops. There are more spectators. They generate more money for the local area charities. It's incredible the effect that he's had over the last 25 years. The PGA Tour have raised over $3 billion, I think, in charitable giving since its inception, and it wouldn't surprise me if Tiger Woods hasn't been responsible for about $1 billion of it by himself.
So Tiger there's obviously the conversation of who's the GOAT in every single sport. And Mike Greenberg from ESPN's Get Up put up this poll on his Twitter the other day. And he was like, who's most likely to catch the previous GOAT? LeBron to MJ, he needs 3 more championships. Patrick Mahomes to Tom Brady. This was obviously after Patrick Mahomes signed a $500 million deal. He needs 5 more championships. And then Tiger to Jack. Tiger only needs 3 more. Now, he didn't win this poll because we live in a recency bias world, but Tiger getting 3 more championships. Is that very attainable and doable, you think, for Tiger, especially with the way he seems to be golfing now? He looked incredible at the match, too. It looked like he was controlling the ball everywhere it needed to go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's very doable. I wouldn't describe it as that, but it's certainly doable. The only mistakes I've ever made in the 25 years I've been covering him is when I've underestimated him. And I would say of that group that you just shown me, he's definitely the favorite because he gets 4 chances a year. The other guys really only get 1.
he's just watching him golf that match too. I had no idea his legs were that like tiny. He's got tiny little legs. I had no idea. I thought a man that hits a ball that far and is that explosive, you have big legs. But the match too, like when I was watching that, and I have like an amateur golf eye, when you're watching him like control and shape his shots, you have to be thinking like, okay, Tiger seems to be all the way back, because we've gotten pump faked the last couple of years a few times. Like, okay, Tiger's back, and then something would happen. And Tiger's back, and then he wins one, and then he kind of disappears for a little bit, then quarantine hits, and then he's back. What is it in your eyes that you think, like, you know what, Tiger's back? Like, did you watch that match too and go, okay, it looks like our guy is back on top of his game?
Well, it's the injury has forced him to play a little more within himself. And along with that, there are these youngsters that he has dragged up, if you like, from he set the bar so high that, players like Ricky Fowler and Dustin Johnson and, now we've got Justin Thomas, so we've got Colin Morikawa, Victor Hovland, Matthew Wolff. They all, look at that bar and they think, well, I can get there. So the competition at the top has got a good deal closer. Tiger is responsible for that. But he's playing more within himself. You can see he's trying, to keep his body in shape. You can see a lot of great Tiger Woods golf from now on. I think, as long as he can stay healthy, he's got great chances, because it's still the same. The rules apply. If Tiger Woods plays well, he wins. He wins. Even today, if he plays well, he wins, and that's always been the case. Since he came out on the PGA Tour.
Let's talk about that young crew, because obviously last weekend, Justin Thomas and Morikawa won after it. Extra holes. Justin Thomas was up 3 going into the final 3. And in the game of golf, things can happen like that. All you need is 1-2 bad shots and everybody else is back in the game. But I couldn't watch it on damn television. You guys have a golf channel, Dave. Put it on the golf channel. Why couldn't I see that? Because I felt like the news that I was getting on the internet, I'm like, hey, this is great for golf. 2 young guys going at it right now, but nobody could watch it. Why was that? Am I an idiot?
That's frustrating, and I don't know the reason why. I'm not on that side of the business, thank God. You wouldn't be. You'd probably be watching cricket. I'd like to see it on the Golf Channel. I'd like to see everything on Golf Channel. I work for them.
The Golf Channel seems to be great content. I remember going back. The Big Break used to be like one of my favorite shows. Yep. It'd be on late night. Ferrie going into its 10th season. That has to feel pretty damn good to be a show host here all by yourself with your last name going on 10 years. What should people look forward to coming up July 27th?
Wow, we've had such a break. I'm not even sure who's going to be on. Come July 27th. But 10 years, it's been an amazing trip. And talking about Golf Channel programming, there's the live golf is one thing. It's always going to be popular. But some of the documentaries, Samuel Jackson, about, black players in the game and they're, being excluded from it for so many years on the PGA. There's the Arnold documentary. There's Jack. They're just fascinating, such programming. And really, I deal with live golf a lot in my job, and I tend not to watch it when I'm off work. But I do watch the other programming. I love it.
I think I got this at 2-3 a.m. It was called The Unduffable. Turns out, son of a bitch. Duffs all the time. Duffs all the time.
It looks like something you'd beat sheep into a van with.
You're from Northern Ireland, is that accurate? I think you're the first person I've ever talked to from Northern Ireland.
Yes, that's where I'm from. We have a special relationship with sheep there.
The young golfers. You got Brooks. Obviously, Dustin Johnson in the last, week or two hasn't been in contention, so I guess he's out of conversation. But it does feel like there is that young group that is kind of primed to take on. Is there any golfers that are like kind of young phenom-like golfers that we don't know about yet that hasn't like hit maybe teenagers or something that could kind of get in? I guess Morikawa could potentially be that guy.
I've had my finger off the pulse for so long. But, guys, not that I know of, but the talent is so phenomenal, and we see it every year. there are names that pop up, and you think to yourself, well, who the hell is that? Where did he come from? I mean, they're coming off that college conveyor belt, and they're not. Nobody chokes anymore. Have you seen that? We had Justin this weekend, but you can't really call it a choke. Well, I suppose you can actually.
Kind of, yeah. I think it was up 3.
Okay, forget that last bit.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just saying, probably could, I guess. But it does feel like the game of golf. It feels like everybody's hitting shots. Like people I've never heard of are making these miraculous shots. And then you're right. A name will come out of nowhere. It's like, well, I had no idea that guy even existed, and he just played golf better than every human on earth. What do you got to
Talking about the college conveyor belt and a guy that's really coming on right now. What has been the tour players' reaction and the analysts' reaction to Bryson DeChambeau's body transformation and now him just absolutely bombing the ball every weekend?
Ferrie, every other sport, Ferrie, there'd be a lot of questions. He said he drank 9 protein shakes a day or whatever. It is paying off. He's hitting that thing a mile every time.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he's gone from. I mean, he looks like a silverback. Bryson is one of those people that he'll take it to the 200%. Whatever he does, he just gets head first into it. Whether it's physics, math, the science part of it, and the psychological part of it, the physical part of it. He's. I'm just afraid that he might explode, into like a horror movie. Yeah.
They say you're not supposed to swing out of your shoes. He is swinging out of it. He looks like a long drive guy trying to get to every single time he swings at that thing.
Yeah, I agree. he generates so much leverage, and he's got the bulk behind it now as well. He does. He looks like one of the guys, in the log drive championship, but he's got tremendous technique as well. It's pretty frightening. It wouldn't surprise me if Bryson, because he's so intense and so motivated, if he does get to number 1 in the world.
There's so many golf courses around that are just beautiful, right? Everybody talks about Augusta, and then there's St. Andrews, and then you got Pebble Beach. What is your favorite course each year to kind of cover? What is your favorite place to go to? What place seems to create more magical moments in your eyes than everywhere else?
Well, for me, I think I've been lucky enough to cover the Open Championship, the Open in Britain now for the last 4 years. And, I played well in that event, on a few occasions. And anytime we go back to St. Andrews or Birkdale or Royal Troon or any of those open roster golf courses, it always gives me, my favorite would be St. Andrews. It's like playing in a graveyard. I had maybe my finest moment in golf there. I captained the Irish side that won what was the 3-man World Championship. They called it the Dunhill Cup back in 1990 in a blind hangover. We celebrated winning the semifinals, and I threw up twice on the golf course. I was given some kind of poutine by one of the caddies, which made me blind, for about 20 seconds, and ended up winning in a playoff. That for me was a huge high point in my career, and a low point in my psychological life.
You got to feel pretty good about the mental toughness there, though, to battle through blinding and puking to go on and win in a playoff. I mean, that is not. I assume the other person was very sober that you were battling against.
Very sober and very annoyed.
Oh my God! Go ahead,
David. So they're playing at the same course, basically back-to-back weekends. Does it give if we're a gambling man, which we are
very, very much.
Does it give an advantage to the guys that played last week, or does that not even matter since there's so many practice rounds during the week leading up to this for the guys that didn't play last week?
No, I think it does. I mean, the more you play a golf course, the more comfortable you get on it. And I mean, it is an unusual situation where they're playing the same golf course twice in a row. I can't think of another time where they've done that. But I would definitely give an edge to the guys that have played this last week. It's a tremendous preparation for one of the biggest tournaments of the year.
Oh, you said Tiger's not going to win right there? Is that what you just said?
No, I wouldn't go as far as to say that. Yeah, I think he'll be in the shakeup, that's for sure.
How
he
is
loves
it?
the place.
What do you think about the no fans? I feel like golf is a socially distant sport. We're having this conversation. Baseball, very much a socially distant sport. Everybody seems to be far away from each other, especially if you sit. Golf, whenever the initial conversation was happening with golf coming back, everybody was like, yeah, it feels like a socially distant sport. And then with the no fans, it feels like it's a much different atmosphere. How would you have reacted as a golfer if there was literally nobody there to really cheer or watch, aside from the extreme amount of security there seems to be, friends of the course that seem to be getting in there? What is that? How much different is that for the golfers, you think?
It's got to be kind of weird, that's for sure. The first tournament back was here. I'm in the DFW area, and at Colonial, and it's kind of strange because normally when you play, the worse that you play, the closer you get to the crowd. If you don't want to get hit by Phil Mickelson, don't stand 300 yards away on the left, because Phil will be gunning for you, and he'll tell you that himself. So, it's like playing in a vacuum, I would imagine, and more difficult because you don't get the adrenaline, you don't get the rush, that you have if you make a big putt or hit a fantastic shot. There's not much of a reward to it, an emotional reward. So, it's got to be tough for the guys. Fortunately, they're still playing for a fortune.
A fortune, yeah, a lot of money. $1.1 million. Shout out to Morikawa getting hot there, winning the playoff hole. What about those two back-to-back putts made on that second playoff hole? What a gut sack moment there. We have to get to a break for radio. Will you stick around for the YouTube show, Dave?
Sure.
All right, let's go to break on radio. We'll be back to close out hour one on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Wednesday, July 15th. And we're out. Okay, welcome back. Hey, David, great fucking conversation here. Are you in your office right now? Is that the office where we're calling from?
Yeah, I'm in the office.
What gets done there? Is that where you guys are calling? Are you calling golf from there? Or what's going on?
I haven't called any golf, God, forever. Christ, I'll be lucky if I can remember what the hell goes on by the time we start. But we did just get the U.S. Open and the USGA package. NBC got it from Fox, so we should have a bit of golf. Some great golf actually towards the end of the season.
Those are
while we're on. I have my foundation. We've got a Zoom call at 10 o'clock. 9 o'clock my time. No.
Hey,
10 o'clock. Yeah.
Go do your thing. What's the foundation for?
It's for wounded military, Troops First Foundation.
Well,
and I've had it for 12 years now, since the first time I went to Iraq to entertain the troops. I came back and I had to be an American. I wasn't an American at that point. I came back and it's the first thing I applied for.
Oh, that's amazing. How did people help here with the Troops First Foundation?
Well, you can go to troopsfirstfoundation.org and find out all about it.
Well, we appreciate you doing that. Thanks for taking care of the troops. Thanks for the conversation, and can't wait to watch Tiger win this weekend, even though he didn't play last week. Ladies and gentlemen, check out the 10th season of Ferrie, which is debuting on July 27th on the Golf Channel. Ladies and gentlemen, David Ferrie. Thank you. See you, brother. Have a good one. Good converter.
Mm-hmm.
Legend. Hey, I wish the Irish accent is one that does not get enough credit.
Top
either.
notch.
Top notch, dude. How about the goat there? The goatee?
always.
Looked good.
Love hearing
very
stories
clean.
about him just puking on the course, and
In a blind hangover.
wonder if him and JD have ever had a cocktail or two together.
Oh, yeah, that's the question I should have asked about. I would assume.
I would. It was just.
By the way, he's big over there, too. John
Oh, yeah.
Daly won over
Huge.
there, so he loves it over there. And I would assume they love him right back. I'm going to run to the bathroom as this break winds down. How about him? Troops First Foundation.
Yeah.
Good for him. Zoom call at 9. If he's in DFW, that's Eastern Standard Time. He is an hour and 47 minutes late to that fucking call.
That's David time, baby.
Is it?
Oh, DFW's Dallas?
Dallas, yeah. That's central.
So they're an
isn't
hour
it?
behind. So he's got 13 minutes until that call.
Oh, you can stay down for a little longer.
Nah. I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Get his notes together.
For the troops, see?
Yeah, it's for the troops. Zeke.
Troops.
Oh, Zeke, you don't want
I
Troops
pulled up
First?
the website really fast.
Yeah,
I'm
you
actually-
did. I saw you
It's
do
on my
it.
bookmarks.
I mean,
saw
the guy
you do
visited the troops one time and decided to be an American citizen. So
Yeah, not a bad move. These guys are a bunch of fucking badass humans. Let's go ahead and join this country real quick. I want to be on that team. All right, I'm going to run Pete real quick. I think we got like a minute and a half before we wrap up hour one. Yeah. Not a bad little Wednesday, July 15th. We'll go through all of the franchise tags kicking off hour 2, and then we'll talk to Aaron Jones, who Gunther Goons hates.
What's the number one sign of a bad home security system?
One you don't use, probably.
Pretty close. A home security system that's so complicated you never use it. This is exactly the type of security system Simply Safe has spent a decade fighting against. They believe that simpler is safer, and it's exactly why Simply Safe is the home security for right now when feeling safe at home has never been more important. Simply Safe was designed to be easy to use while protecting your whole home 24/7. Order online with the click of a button, open the box, place the sensors, plug it in, and your home is protected around the clock. No technician or salesperson has to come and disrupt your house. You don't need to pay any outrageous monthly fees or sign a 2-year contract. And it's why Simply Safe was named Best Overall Home Security of 2020 by U.S. News and World Report. And that their 24/7 professional monitoring and emergency dispatch starts at just 50 cents a day.
Oh, wow.
What?
Head to simplysafe.com/Pat and get free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee. That's simplysafe.com/Pat to make sure they know that our show sent you.
That's simplysafe.com/Pat. Shout out to them. 50 cents a day for a little comfort and security. Not a bad deal. Just had David Ferrie on. 25 years covering golf at the Golf Channel and for NBC. What a legend of a human, to be honest.
Yeah.
Beast.
You can sit down, mate. You're good. You stand in the corner, look like Will Smith.
Oh, no. Mitt Smith.
Got it! Had to do it. Let's get to some phone calls here before we get done with hour 1. Let's go to Chris in California. What's going on, Chris?
Hey, good morning to you and the boys. We're out here in sunny California.
How is it?
It's pretty good out here. I got a couple things I wanted to talk about. First thing, I'm a big Chiefs fan out here in California, man, which obviously I'm a big Pat Mahomes fan.
Yeah.
But I was kind of disappointed he didn't give a shout-out to Connor for being on the cover of GQ and biting his style a little bit on the jumpsuit.
Yeah, I think they look similar for sure, but I'm happy that that Connor got a chance to. Great call, Chris. Not bad there.
Wow.
Well done.
Not bad there. Felt pretty good. I thought I was going to be able to hang up on him while doing it. Turns out that would have been very,
He caught the ball.
very, 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 very difficult. It's unduffable, okay? 2, 3 a.m., It felt like I think I was watching a golf fix where that guy puts pool noodles in his arm and all that. And I thought this thing was going to change my entire inside 100-yard game. This thing made it worse, but boy, it is very flat. So this son bitch can go ahead and bounce. Patrick Mahomes on GQ looked good, though.
Yeah, he did.
Had a pinky ring on. Okay, shout out pinky ring. Had a good watch on. Had a chain on. Had an entire jumpsuit. I'm not sure his jumpsuit was as nice as Connor's jumpsuit, and he even had a P on there for Patrick Mahomes potentially if you guys would have swapped them. But he's on GQ. Connor's in the phone booth in here. I think Connor wins this one flat out.
Yeah, I'd rather be in the phone booth 10 times out of 10.
Then on GQ?
Then on GQ, yeah, no chance.
To be honest, I did not know that GQ still was a thing. But I'm happy Patrick Mahomes is getting all of this. He's got Coors Light money. He's got Chiefs money. Now he's on GQ. He's living the best life. In hour 2, we'll talk to Aaron Jones and go through all the franchise tags. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
Keep it going.
Is that your favorite send-off of all time?
I think so.
There you go.
Oh, jeez.
Through the break.
Yeah, through the break.
All right, let's go.
Come on now.
My arms.
I think it's only 5 minutes.
Well, this could be difficult. I mean,
You got
Wait for the stall, huh?
well, I was just going to wait if I could hold that for 2 minutes. You know, I was trying to get through it a little bit. I did go a little bit cockier for a stall. This is a cool thing to be able to do. It makes you look like very athletic, but boy, it is simple, especially when you're hitting with a fucking shovel. You know what I mean?
I think the world record's only like 88,000 times in a row.
Well, where are we at now?
13,000 or something?
Yeah, like over 12 for sure.
12 just in general?
12,000.
Yeah, we're.
You were doing it this morning before the show.
Yeah, is it in one day or is it one
I believe it's
time?
consecutively.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Consecutively. Can't do that. Let's take some phone calls here. Let's go to Mitch in Arizona. What's going on, Big Mitch?
Morning, boys. How we doing?
Mitch, I want to let you know, I do not appreciate the fact that other kids in your school called you Mitch the Bitch, and I want to let you know I don't like it. We are not for that on this show, Mitch.
Not at all.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was pretty painful. So I'm not gonna lie.
I have a couple friends named Mitch, and they all got called the same thing. And it was probably a tough couple years there, and you did not deserve it.
What'd you call it?
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. Not gonna lie.
Just Mitch
but,
the bitch.
But hey, the question I wanted to have for you guys this morning is so after watching the YouTube video with Cam, OBJ, and Todd Gurley, they were all saying, with this extended time off, they've been recovering from their injuries, and then they've been working out as hard as they've ever been. So out of the three, which do you think has the best chance to have a better year out of those three?
Hold, please.
OBJ, Todd Gurley,
and Cam.
Thank you for that question, Mitch.
Best year.
Yeah.
Cam Newton. I'm saying Cam Newton strictly because he's going to have the ball in his hand every single play, right? So he is set up to have a better year. Odell, will he have a better year than last year when he had a torn hernia or whatever, or hernia? I don't know if that's torn. It's something in your abs torn.
Hernia.
I think a sports hernia, and he played through it the entire year. And you had draws being called on like 4th and 18 on the offensive side of the ball. I would assume Odell has a better year this year than he had last year. I hope he gets back to the Odell that is just electrifying. But Stefanski's going to have to do a lot of work to open him up because everybody knows and respects how good Odell Beckham Jr. is. Maybe the people at home who might get turned off by his antics and the things that he does, but football people know that OBJ is unbelievable. So he has to get double coverage he probably gets. Plus, he's got an offensive system that has other people in there. Jarvis Landry's another incredible weapon on that offensive side of the ball. Chubb's a great running back. Baker Mayfield and Stefanski are kind of teaming up. So will Odell Beckham be able to be the superstar that Cam Newton will be able to be? No, I don't think he's set up to do that, but I think Odell has a great year.
I think all three probably have a great year.
Yeah, and Gurley is in a prove-it type thing. There's a lot of conversation last year about, they're saving him because his knee hurts. And then everybody on the team, though, was like, we should start giving him the ball. We should start giving him the ball. Then at the end of the year, they started giving him the ball. They started winning. It was too little, too late. Todd Gurley and McVay, they say maybe there's a little bit of beef. Get him out of town. Todd Gurley's going back to Atlanta. Maybe he has a great year, but we don't know with that one. We have no idea. Hopefully he does well, because when Todd Gurley was rolling, he was awesome to watch. Then they said he had a bad knee, and then he was like, no, I don't have a bad knee. And then they're like, well, the coach hates it. Like, what was going on? Why did that not work out there? I wonder. Well, they gave him a massive contract, and they couldn't pay him. But is that why they're planning on getting rid of him middle of the season? They stopped giving him the ball? What's that all about?
Well, they said that he had the degenerative
They said that, but he's never come out and said that.
And wouldn't, like, another team would look into that big time before signing him to, I mean, he got like $10 million or so, didn't he? Well, it wasn't that high, but I mean, he got a decent amount for having apparently a bum knee.
Yeah, and they wouldn't okay it in the physical if you had a bum knee for another team. That is an interesting situation that I hope we learn the story about coming out. Because Todd Gurley goes from offensive MVP damn near to not even getting the ball. And they go to the Super Bowl one year, then they don't make the playoffs the next year.
Didn't really use him in the Super Bowl either.
Yeah.
I mean,
so there's a lot of – that whole story will come out at some point, probably when Todd's retired or Sean McVay leaves or whatever happens there. That was weird. So maybe he has a great year, but it relies on other people to be successful. For Cam's going to have the ball in his hands every single play. He is set up. That's why it's a quarterback-driven league, because they have the ball every single play. He is set up to have the biggest come up of next year.
Yeah, and then for Odell, I mean, they signed Austin Hooper and they get Njoku, who didn't play anything back or any games last year back, basically. And you don't have a Riverstone calling plays. It should be a helpful addition for Odell.
Take it easy on Freddie Kitchens, okay? Yeah, he called a draw 4th and 18. Okay, yeah, they were terrible. They went backwards, but the guy's taking enough heat. Now we got Stefanski in there. Ivy League. Yikes. Good morning, beautiful people. It is Wednesday, July 15th. Big day for players who were franchise tagged by their teams in the NFL. By 4 o'clock today, the team and the franchise tag players have to negotiate a long-term deal, or they will play on the franchise tag. Dak Prescott, quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, is set to make $31.4 million. Allegedly, the Dallas Cowboys made him one last offer yesterday, averaging between $33 and $35 million for 5 years with $100 million in guarantees. Dak's team wants a 4-year deal. Cowboys want a 5-year deal. They have not really talked much, I guess, over the last couple weeks, maybe even months. They make a Hail Mary offer yesterday. We assume Dak's team's going to turn that down. He will play for $31.4 million on the franchise tag, which he signed on June 22nd. He will be the third quarterback in the history of franchise tags to play a season on a franchise tag. Drew Brees did it with the San Diego Chargers. He ended up leaving the San Diego Chargers. And Kirk Cousins did it twice with the Washington Redskins. He ended up leaving the Washington Redskins. So if history has taught us anything with quarterbacks playing on the franchise tag, you can guess that Dak will not be a Dallas Cowboy. But everybody around in a part of the Dallas Cowboys franchise has said that Jerry Jones wants Dak Prescott to be his quarterback for the long term. We will have to find out, because he's playing for $31.4 this year. If he and McCarthy have a good year, he will be a awfully expensive quarterback after this year, especially after what he did last year. If he can stack 2 elite years together, still hasn't won a playoff game, but if he can stack 2 elite years at quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys with Mike McCarthy potentially growing something special down there for the next 8 years, that deal will get done maybe next year, or he plays on a franchise tag again for $37.8 million or something like that, which is $69 million guaranteed money in the next 2 years. You could see why he would turn down the $100 million for a 5-year deal when he probably could get $69 in the next 2 years if he just signs the franchise tag. That's business, baby. Derrick Henry, running back for the Tennessee Titans, is set to make $10.278 million on his franchise tag. Offensive guard Brandon Scherf for the Washington Redskins will make $15.03 million. Interior defensive lineman Leonard Williams for the Giants will make $16.12 million. Shaq Barrett, edge rusher for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who was with the Broncos for 5 years, then signed a 1-year deal worth $4 million for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and upped his sack total in one season 4X or 5X. I assume the Buccaneers are like, hey, you do that 1 more year for us, because the first 5 years those numbers were not the same. We'll get you a big-time deal. He goes from a $4 million deal to a $15.828 guaranteed deal for the next year. And he was on NFL Network this morning and said that he doesn't feel as if a long-term deal will get done. This will be another prove-it year for Shaq. Yannick Ngakoue Ngakoue, the defensive end for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who has had a public dispute with Tony Khan, owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has said, I want out of here. He is one of only 2 players in this list who have not signed their franchise tag. Let's get to the other one. Wide receiver A.J. Green of the Cincinnati Bengals, $18.171 million to him guaranteed for the next season. If he signs the franchise tag, which he has not done, he can sign it after 4 o'clock today. He can sign it all the way up until the season starts if he wants to be a part of it. The Cincinnati Bengals, who do not have an indoor practice facility, if they want to lock him up long-term, have to do it by 4 o'clock today, although he has not signed the franchise tag. Tight end Hunter Henry for the Chargers, $10.6 million. Bud Dupree, outside linebacker, $15.8. Joe Tooney, offensive guard for the Patriots, $14.78. Edge rusher for the Baltimore Ravens, Matthew Judon gets $16.808 million. Safety Justin Simmons of the Broncos makes $11.44 million. In safety, Anthony Harris for the Vikings makes the same. No long-term deals are imminent in anybody's case, says Ian Rappaport yesterday, aside from Kansas City Chiefs franchise tag player for this year, Chris Jones, who locked in a 4-year, $80 million deal just days after they signed Patrick Mahomes to a 10-year extension worth $502 million. Chris Jones, what? Stone cold. What? 37 mil due at signing. What? 60 mil is guaranteed if an injury happens. What? A 4-year, $80 million deal with $5 million in incentives, making the value of that $85 million, and nobody knows how they're going to be able to pay all these people. You look at those contracts and you say, what? How is that going to work? Nobody knows, but Andy Reid and Veach seem to be contract wizards over there in Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City, Missouri. The reigning Super Bowl champs keep a good chunk of their team together, young studs for at least the next couple of years. Nobody knows how it's going to work.
Yeah, because I was looking it up yesterday, and both of their tackles come up, I believe, in 2 years, as well as Tyrann Mathieu and Kelsey in that year as well. And then I believe it goes to who were we talking about yesterday? Tyreek Hill is then up again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're going to have to do some things here in the next 2-3 years.
And I would assume that they're looking at those deals that are potentially coming up while negotiating these deals. For instance, I was franchise tagged one time. I was the only punter that year, kicker that was franchise tagged, although it does happen because you get a salary of the top 5 salaries in your position averaged without bonuses. Okay, so if you happen to be the guy at your position, a franchise tag kind of kills you because it's a salaries without the bonus, and it kind of comes down. Now, granted, this is all a lot of money, and for me, it was multi-million-dollar guarantee for the next year. Do you want this? Somebody who's never seen that much money in your entire life and never thought it was going to happen? I said yes and signed that thing immediately, but golf ball down. That thing can't be juggled. If it's not being juggled, it's running away. And I can appreciate that. But whenever I was negotiating my deal after the franchise tag, so now if they don't negotiate a deal by 4 o'clock today with their franchise tag players, they can't talk to them about an extension until after the season. Like cannot even, it's called a dead period for franchise tag players. So literally today by 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 4 hours and 54 minutes from right now, if the team and the franchise tag player don't negotiate a long-term deal, they can't talk again until the season's over after the season to negotiate a deal. So for me, I got franchise tag, sign it, play my season. Then immediately after the season ends, now there's conversations about a contract. And Andrew Luck's contract got held over my head every single situation that they had. Other people that were owed money potentially in years down the road, that was held over my head. So there's general managers, and the way people put together rosters are obviously thinking about the future of their team, what they can and can't do, but there's been plenty of people who have completely messed it up. The Los Angeles Rams had to dump and unload players because they signed everybody that they had on their team to the biggest contract at their positions. They had to get rid of players. There's a lot of things that happen in there. Let's assume Andy Reid and Veach will be able to figure it out. But whenever you look at the deals that they just signed, with the amount of salary cap that they had left going into this offseason, none of it makes sense, but I'm happy for him. Hey, I'm happy for Stone Cold Chris Jones too, who said, I will not play this year if I don't get a long-term deal. After the Super Bowl champion, ship. He was so pumped to be a Kansas City Chief, loved being there. Then business started talking, said, I won't play unless I get a long-term deal. They get it done. Number 2 D tackle in the NFL, locks it down for $80 million. But nobody knows how the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be able to pay anybody out there. Because you got to pay those offensive linemen. Because a big part of the reason why that offense works is because their front 5 can block anybody. So they don't have to keep a tight end in there. Travis Kelce doesn't have to stay in. They can kind of be wide open. Now, granted, the pass game helps out the offensive linemen a lot because they can't pack the box. They kind of got to be light in the load there. But if you want to pay somebody $500 million, you should probably think about protecting them too, which a lot of people have not done in the past, especially in situations that I've seen firsthand. But Patrick Mahomes is a hot commodity. Got to protect them. Going to have to pay their guys.
Yeah, so and they're good tackles too. So Eric Fisher is up, and then Mitchell Schwartz is up, and then their guard Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, I believe, is also a doctor, is up as well in the next coming year. So yeah, you're gonna want to pay them to protect Patrick.
Unless you have a young guy sitting back there that you know is good, that you don't have to pay as much, because that is exactly, by the way, what happened with, I just saw that Tyreek Hill wants a rematch with that high school kid that
Austin.
That just popped up on my phone there. That was a hell of a catch, by the way. Yeah. Hell of a catch. That's like when Luke Kuechly at his camp got crossed up by that one kid. Because you never know when you're going to get got there. Because you're just at a camp like, hey, I'm putting something together here, trying to, teach the youth of what to do, what makes them better. And then all of a sudden you get yammed on. That is tough. That's why I don't go to those camps.
Kuechly ate that kid's lunch too right after. He's like, let's try it one more time.
Yeah, and he punched the ball out too.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, maybe I should have gave you a little bit more respect. But to be honest, you look like you're 12 years old. I thought I could just grab you. But hey, good. Shout out to you. You're in a good spot. This kid that mossed on Tyreek Hill, though, this catch was next level. He went up there and got that thing.
Talked a little trash.
And then he got in his face and he bounced around.
I'm going to say that was better quarterback than receiver there. Quarterback just put in the spot where you couldn't get it.
It was obviously a hell of a throw. I don't know who threw it. Maybe Patty Mahomes threw it, by the way. It's Tyreek Hill's camp. Maybe Patty Mahomes stopped by from the American Century Championship, took his Coors Light bus right over to that camp, threw that ball to that kid, hopped back on it, went back in the golfing or in the lake or partying, whatever he was doing. But that was a hell of a snag.
Not
and
taking anything away from
by the way, Tyreek didn't play defense. That's professional defense, by the way. Don't leave your feet. Don't go up. Don't want to get the feet tangled. Don't get hurt. Tyreek Hill, who's 1% body fat, goes up there and gets hurt at that moment. What happens? Well, Chiefs not happy, but that kid, what a moment. I would assume Tyreek's going to get back out there with that kid. But what I said was, with the offensive linemen, they're going to have to pay those offensive linemen if they want to continue to have their success. And I assume Andy Reid understands that the offensive line, if the offensive line goes, the team goes. But remember, they were a team that kicked Alex Smith out the door, said, hey, see you later, get the hell out of here. We got a guy named Patrick Mahomes that nobody really even knows about. He's going to be the guy. And a lot of people question him. A lot of people, we said, what are you talking about? Like, Alex Smith was in MVP conversation. You sent him out the door to Washington. And they were like, no, this Patrick Mahomes kid is the kid. They were right. MVP, Super Bowl a couple years later, now $500 million deal. Good for them, but they are going to have to figure some things out over there.
Well, and you alluded to it, too. How difficult is it when you feel like your front office, almost never has misses in the draft, and you're very confident with the guys that you can bring in to replace them? Does that
have to, right?
That has to factor in big time, right?
Have to feel good. And then also, there was a lot of conversation about how players feel with the franchise tag in business. And I was somebody who I did not enjoy the way things were being said about me during the business conversation, right? Like Dak Prescott, there was some talk this morning, I think by Schefter or somebody else. It was like, hey, if you look at the history of this with Drew Brees and Kirk Cousins both getting franchise tag playing and not ending up there, I assume Dak knows that. Dak knows that the only 2 other quarterbacks that have ever played on the franchise tag have been quarterbacks that have left their place. Is Dak going to be bitter towards the Dallas Cowboys this year? I think if I'm Dak, I am, right? I feel like I've proven it, and everybody else in the huddle basically has gotten paid here except for me. It is going to be an interesting standpoint, but Dak has done nothing but be professional the entire time. I would assume he will continue to do such, but $33 to $35 million, $100 million guarantee was offered to him yesterday. He just saw what Patty Mahomes signed for, and I was like, we'll wait. We will wait. 11 minutes after the hour, we're going to get to a break. Running back for the Green Bay Packers. Took over the world last year, the running back position. Was not voted in the top 10 running backs by 50 NFL personnel, but he did get a 90 overall Madden rating above Aaron Rodgers. So is he still got a chip on his shoulder, or is he feeling good after that Madden rating? Or does he know that Gunther, the guy running the show over there, tried to draft his replacement in the second round just like he drafted Jordan Love to take out Aaron Rodgers? We'll talk to him about his offseason, his feelings going into the season, and the amount of disrespect for a guy That had 4 touchdowns in one game against the Dallas Cowboys last year. Tossed up the deuce sign. 2,300 yards. Stud. Aaron Jones on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
Last night I was roaming around Canal and Bourbon, and it was a lot of purple. And when you get that Mercedes-Benz Dome, and it starts getting loud and it gets rompous, obviously, not only for momentum and swings like that it can help, but for the defensive line to get a jump. I think that is a big deal. A lot of freak athletes on the field, and kickers are a spectacle no matter what happens. Whenever you're in those high-pressure moments, you normally fall back on your fundamentals. You normally fall back on your technique. You try to take your brain out of it. Cade York hits a beautiful ball.
One person up in the parking garage.
And think about him warming up right now. There's just 3 dudes in suits breaking down every single move he makes during his warm-up. What a wild scene here for Trevor Lawrence.
Quarterback, number 9, Joe Burrow.
You're supposed to be some draft expert, and you say Joe Burrow was a 5th-round draft pick before this year. Now he's number 1 overall. What do you know? What do you know, Todd? Tim, you are so handsome, it's ridiculous. What do you think has been happening in this first quarter? Why has Joe Burrow been stumped by this Clemson defense?
I think Brent Venables is the best DC in the country, and it's honestly not a shock to me. He did this to Tua last year.
Odell Beckham just stopped by.
Odell's very excited.
Odell's happy with the 52-yard attempt coming from the kid from Clemson. I've seen Odell make this with a spinning ball. And B.T. Potter puts it through from 52 in Odell's. Not in your face. It wasn't in your face. It wasn't in your face. You weren't looking at it.
That's a career high for B.T. Potter.
Bro, imagine Joe Burrow just having to stand in there and know that Isaiah Simmons is scot-free right in your suckle. That's a bad call. No chance Alberto Riverod would turn that over. He was in the Buccos organization?
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. I do believe Aaron Jones has not answered a phone call.
No.
You know why? You know exactly why. Yep. We put up a graphic saying...
We put graphics up every day.
No, we've only put them up whenever they don't show up.
That's not true.
True.
Or Gumpy might be on later on. He's always been 100% with his picks when we have it on.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Gumpy has gone 100% whenever we have a graphic up that displays who our guests are going to be and a guest drops out unannounced, maybe moments beforehand. Aaron Jones, friend of the show, though.
Yes.
Yeah, he is. If I know him, he's probably out working out.
Probably.
He's got that chip on his shoulder. He's probably just stacking a couple more up.
I'm
Allegedly,
gonna check if I have the right number.
Allegedly, that's what Tyreek Hill was doing as well whenever he skipped our show. And Kenny the Jet Smith had a hospital visit and an emergency thing. His dog ate his homework whenever he came.
Interesting. The Jet stinks, though.
Not Jason Terry, though, because that
That's
Jet
right.
came on the show.
Great guy.
Great guy.
Good coach, too.
What do you have on the dry erase board behind you there, Connor?
What is the closest U.S. state to Africa?
Oh, so this is going to be one of those ones where you think it's one thing, but it's another. So I would say it's Hawaii.
Ooh, great guess.
Alaska.
Also a good guess.
Opposite.
Maine. Really?
You don't, because it's been going on.
Maine. Golly.
A lot of people don't realize, because it's been going around for a couple of years, and I was mind-boggled when it came out. Africa, the northernmost part of Africa, very north, about as north as Maine.
Yeah.
The Horn of Africa?
What?
Okay.
Maine?
Yeah, Maine.
The northern part of Africa is about as far north as Maine.
I see. That's one I do not believe.
Their
the
latitudes.
Maine being close, I'm saying because Maine goes up over the top. You go. I would assume.
Pull it up.
Their latitudes are very similar.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought South America, like kind of.
Yeah,
I thought that
exactly.
Africa was down a little bit. I've been to Africa. I have been to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
That is wild to think that and I was at Morocco, by the way, which is northwestern tip of Africa, basically, which is what you guys are probably referring to. Rode a camel out there, big, slow, annoying horse. Wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but kind of a memorable story. It will spit on you if it does not respect you, and it sure felt like my camel did not respect me much.
Old Casablanca.
Okay, it's pretty close to as north as Maine.
Well, the map is the reason that you think it's Hawaii or Alaska.
Well, it's the same
It's
latitude
deceiving.
as Washington, D.C.
No, it's the maps are deceiving. Antarctica also not that big.
So what you said, I mean, not.
No, it is.
I mean, it's the same latitude as D.C. That's pretty far north.
Yeah, but we got our thing. We're turned like this on this particular map there. If we straighten that sumbitch up, it's like North Carolina, South Carolina.
This map isn't completely accurate.
Well, I know. That's exactly what I'm saying.
None of them are.
Farther north than South America, which we all thought probably.
Which, by the way, I did. Okay, so there is something to be said about that. But I did not know that United States is like kind of cockeyed on the thing. We're kind of coming in sideways on
we
this.
are a
You
little
see
bit.
how it's slanted?
And so that feels like this is potentially set up for this argument.
This is a flat earther map.
It feels like this is set up for the argument. Let's get to a phone call since Aaron Jones blew us off.
He is expecting the phone call. I just got a text, so.
Oh, he's out of the bathroom.
Did you call him?
I'm calling him right now. See what happens.
All right, here we go. Now we wait.
Here we go.
Here we go.
I'll move him out of my top 5 running backs.
Don't do it. Don't do it just yet.
I will.
Bear Don. I hung up on him.
Did you call?
I'm kidding.
He didn't
Oh,
answer?
it's dialing right now. If you want to hear the dial.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, here we go. 5 minutes late. No big deal. No big deal.
It's fine. Working out.
Hey, better late than never. Get
Oh,
it.
jeez.
Oh no.
Maybe he blocked our phone number for some reason.
Oh my God. Let's go
It's
to
a bad look for Packers.
Well, Packers
going
already
on?
had bad luck. His name is Gunther. Let's go to Travis up there in Michigan. What's going on, Travis?
Hey, Pat and boys. How we doing today?
Not great. Just got blown off by Aaron Jones, and now I got a mountain on my shoulder because people just blowing off the show. What do you want to talk about, brother?
I was just curious. Would Cam Newton take more? Or sorry about that. Would Cam Newton take only $1 million from the Patriots, or if any other team would have offered him, would he have taken $1 million there, or say like the Jags? Would he need to have a bigger contract to go to the Jags?
Great question. Not really. He said that nobody else really offered him. He said he was sitting around for 86 days, and he was even asking about teams. He was like, well, doesn't that team need a quarterback? And his agent was like, they're not interested. And then when the Patriots are finally interested, he was very surprised, I think. He asked, how are me and Bill going to mesh, that whole thing? And then now he signs up there for $1 million. There's some conspiracy theories cooking around for why it was only $1 million, as if Bill Belichick was looking out for him for some potential off-the-field things going on. But I believe the $1 million was strictly because they had no salary cap, and they said, hey, listen, we can't believe we're the only ones that want to sign you. We'd like to get this done, and we got 1 year here to prove that we can dominate together, and then after that, our salary cap opens up mightily. And if you know anything about us, we won't make you the top-paid quarterback, but we're going to win some games here, and you're going to make a lot of cashola. I think he would have won anywhere that offered him, though. Now, granted, I don't know if any team that had a real starting quarterback would have offered him. So anywhere he would have went is a place that he thought he was a better quarterback than, and I believe he is as well. But there's a lot of places. We talked to Mr. Bean, general manager for the Buffalo Bills, asked him about Cam Newton. We say, hey, Buffalo Bills seem to be a spot that a lot of people are saying, hey, young quarterback, has made the playoffs, kind of unproven still. Now you got a vet who's an MVP on the market. Would you ever bring him in to either potentially be a backup? And Bean told us, no, we want to empower Josh Allen, let him know that this is his team. This is everything. There's no competition at quarterback, and we can get this job done. And I said, okay, sounds good, but now Cam Newton's in his division. And now he's going to have to deal with it. And I can see why he wanted to do that with Josh Allen, by the way, because Cam Newton is going to win over the locker room and going to be an incredible football player. So you don't want to take that away if you think Josh Allen's the guy. But, boy, now you got to deal with maybe Cam Newton for what, the next 10 years potentially?
Perhaps.
With the New England Patriots? We'll see how it all works out. Joining us now is a man who said he has a mountain on his shoulder because 50 NFL personnel didn't vote him into the top 10 running backs in the NFL. Then, just a couple days later, Madden came out and gave him a 90 rating, which is higher than Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if he feels disrespected or respected, has a chip on his shoulder, or is just taking a grumpy for a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, running back for the Green Bay Packers, stud Aaron Jones. Aaron,
thank you for having me.
What's going on, Aaron? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, thank you. What about you?
I'm feeling great. Thanks for asking. I feel alive. I feel good. I thought you blew off our show. I was going to have to cancel you from my life forever. I'm happy that didn't happen.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Hey, good man. Good man.
Hell yeah.
First of all, how's the offseason going? Obviously insane times. What are the Zoom calls like? Have they been difficult to adjust to? How about workouts and everything like that?
Actually, they've been pretty good. Our coaches keep it entertaining, telling jokes in it, and it's just like being in a regular meeting. So from that aspect, you get everything you need. You're just missing the chemistry part that you would have during OTAs and things like that. But training's going well. I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna be ready when I step back on the field.
Everybody says the game shape's a lot different than conditioning when you can run sprints, but it feels like everybody's tired the first day of training camp, regardless of OTAs, regardless of there being a normal setup. That first couple of days of training camp kind of kicks everybody in the taint, it feels like. So is it almost like you're trying to stay in shape as much as possible, knowing that whenever training camp starts, you're probably going to be tired and exhausted anyways?
Definitely. I mean, I always say that game shape is a different kind of shape, or football shape is a different kind of shape than anything else. Whether it be basketball as well, when you condition it and you play basketball, it's going to be the same. So it takes a couple days to get adjusted to, but I've been running a lot, so I feel like I'll be ready.
Contract year is always a big year for players. I mean, it is. People can act like it's just another year, but for players, we know that this is business time now. Hey, this is going to have to be my best self. With the way the old offseason has gone, with the lack of chemistry and being able to be around each other, how have you been able to stay focused? Like, hey, I have to have a massive year here regardless of what's going on around me.
Just know what's in store for me. I'm always betting on myself, and I want to be a lifelong Packer. So
don't say that. Yeah, don't say that. Don't say what you just said. If that's what you really want, don't say it. Aaron said it to us night of the draft, and then obviously what happened. So I don't want to be the curse here. So don't say that. But I'm sorry. Go back to
all right.
You know what I mean? You get it.
No.
You get it.
No, but just knowing that my play on the field controls a lot of things. So just going out there and handling business.
What was it about last year that really made you take off? Was it being featured a little bit more? Was it the offensive system? What was it that made you kind of explode onto the scene last year?
I think it was both. The previous 2 years I really wasn't getting featured as much or getting that feature role. And when Coach LaFleur came in, he made me the starter, and I knew with that he told me he liked to get the backs involved out of the backfield and get the ball in their hands. So I knew the opportunity would come, and I just had to make the most of it.
What do you think about Aaron Rodgers getting an 89 Madden rating? What a joke, dude. What a freak.
That's a big joke. I mean, look at his stats. I mean, we went 13-3 last year, and just look at his track record. I mean, That doesn't make any sense to me. No disrespect to any of the other guys, but he's my guy, and he's number one to me.
I agree completely, by the way. Now, Patrick Mahomes has a year that is unheard of, and Lamar Jackson's captivating. But when you start looking at the other quarterbacks, and anytime you look at those Madden ratings, you're being graded on a 0 to 100 scale for the first time in all aspects: awareness, sprinting, arm strength, you get speed. You're 0 to 100, and I think that's why a lot of people are like, why do players care so much about their Madden rating and stuff like that? It's like, well, I'm literally being told by somebody that doesn't know football exactly how I am in every single aspect of the game, and now millions and millions of people are only going to know me by those ratings. You can see by why players get upset about it. Let's not talk about Aaron Rodgers and his 89 and your 90 on Madden. Let's talk about the 50 personnel not putting you in the top 10 running backs in the league. You said you got a mountain on your shoulder because of it. Why is it? Do you think it's because last year you kind of exploded on the scene, they don't know enough about you, or you think they're just disrespectful to Aaron Jones in Green Bay?
I mean, I have no clue. I just gonna go let the play on the field do the talking. I mean, my first 2 years I led the league in yards per carry, and so I think people knew who I was, and it's just added fuel to the fire. I got left out of the Pro Bowl, no All-Pro selection, not even one vote. So it's just added fuel to the fire, and the mountain on my shoulder is getting bigger and bigger.
You and Aaron Rodgers seem to be in potentially the same headspace, which could be a very big problem for the NFC North. Diggs, what do you got?
Aaron, it has been reported by Pat that players are supposed to report on July 28th.
I broke that news.
Have you heard anything about that? Like, are they is the NFLPA, is the NFL telling anything about players about what's going on and as far as reporting and stuff like that?
Yes. So we're supposed to report the 28th. I've been in a couple of the Zoom meetings with the NFLPA and they're just kind of going over the guidelines and what to expect, who can be in the building, when. But I as far as I know, I'm reporting the 28th, and I'll be ready to go. I expect the NFLPA. They have our backs, and they've been doing a great job. So I expect them to get it right with the NFL and the Packers.
Listen, if they put that thing as a bubble, okay, and you guys got to go into lockdown, I mean, that sucks for you guys, but we need the NFL. So, okay, so the NBA players are getting Postmates delivered, trying to bring in thoughts and things. We need to shut that bubble down in Orlando, okay? We need the NBA. It sucks for you guys in there. So I call on everybody else to not show up. But have the guidelines, have they told you, like, are you guys going to be locked down in there? Like, what have they even got to that point? Because publicly, we've only heard that there's some conversations happening. Have you guys been informed on what the guidelines could potentially look like?
We haven't been informed on that part, like whether we'll have to just stay in the house or stay in like one hotel or what it may be. That we haven't been informed on that yet, so I'm kind of interested to see. I mean, I think I wouldn't mind being in a bubble, actually. I mean, as long as I get to play football.
And I think that's what training camp is. Now, training camp gets a bad rap, obviously, because it's miserable. It's a long time. There's no games that matter. So it's a tough thing for a lot of people. But that aspect of like escaping and getting together with your team and kind of building the camaraderie, I think there's not a lot like that, especially coming after this sports hiatus and this quarantine. I think training camp is going to be a bit different for players this year and almost like an appreciation of it as opposed to I hate it, which is the normal mindset towards it.
I definitely think it'll be appreciated. I mean, after all the time we've had off, like no OTAs, just you don't get that chemistry, you don't get the camaraderie with the guys. You're not used to you don't get that when you're not around them. So I think it was taken for granted before. So people will definitely use that time and come together, and I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Are you an Adidas guy?
Yes, sir.
When did that happen? Recently?
No, sir. So I've been with Adidas since my rookie year.
Oh, I didn't know that. Hey, Adidas needs to show you a little bit more love, too. We need Aaron Jones. You know what I mean? We need a little bit more of a push there, Adidas. Let's do this.
Yes, sir.
So you and Aaron Rodgers, both Adidas guys, both feel probably a little bit slighted, and both probably about to have the best years of your career next year. Is that accurate?
I think that's very accurate.
Hey, we like that a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have anything for Aaron?
No, I was curious, like when a guy gets drafted, in the second round, so they're obviously kind of putting a lot of chips into that basket. Like, how do you react to something like that? Or are you of the mindset where it's like, hey, the more competition in the running back room, the better?
I just think of it as the more competition in the running back room, the better. I mean, at one point I was third on the depth chart, and I was just worrying about myself. So I continue to worry about myself. I make sure my guys know what they're doing and put them in the best role to succeed. But I really just worry about myself, and because that's all I can control is myself.
Hey, that's an interesting position for you to be in as the third guy at one point. Now you're going into contract year. You're going to be the featured guy, which happened last year. But now they bring in a young guy, and it's always this interesting thing where it's like, yeah, the outside almost expects the veteran to be this, like another coach. Like, hey, you need a mentor, you need to be a coach. And every older player that I've ever seen, even those who aren't considered to be great mentors, they're like nice. They'll answer every single question. Like, they'll try to help out. But hey, it's not my job to coach you, okay? Like, that's the coach's job. I'm also trying to get ready for a season. But for you, this has to be a whole new place now. Like, you're like the guy in the room now who has to answer the questions as opposed to the person that's asking the questions. Have you thought about that position at all and how you'll handle it?
I actually have now. It's kind of weird because now I'm the veteran.
Yeah.
Before, really in our room we didn't have a vet, so it's kind of like we're learning on the fly, doing everything on the fly. And now I'm the vet, and have, like you said, a young guy coming in, and I'm gonna do everything to make sure he's right and ready. When the time comes, if he needs to step on the field, he knows what he's doing. But like you said, I'm focused on myself. It's a contract year, and I'm worried about myself.
It's a weird balance. It is a weird.
It's very weird.
It is a very weird balance because it's if somehow it comes out later that you didn't bend over backwards for the younger player, then they're like, oh, he's selfish. It's like, yeah, but I'm also trying to be the best me at the same time. It's a very weird expectation that gets put on veteran players whenever young players come in at the same position. I'm pumped to see how you handle it because you're a good dude. I think somebody just came. Hey, how's it going back there? How are you? How are you?
It was my mom.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Mom, your son's about to get very wealthy in about 365 days from now. Congratulations.
And that's my dad.
Hey, what's up, Dad? How's it going, Dad?
My dad said you're his favorite.
Oh, you're my favorite, sir. I appreciate you, man. Hey, I like the Jones family a lot there. I feel like I need to come visit. Where are you guys at? Down in Texas?
Yes, sir. El Paso, Texas. You're welcome anytime. We'll show you a good time.
Hey, high altitude down there. Ball flies a long way down there, right? Isn't El Paso pretty?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Kick the hell out of some balls down there. Well, good luck this year. Can't wait to see what you double down with after an incredible year last year. And the fact that the 50 personnel disrespected you, I like that. Add a little fuel to the fire on there.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you. And thank you for having me. I'm a huge fan of the show and a huge fan of you, so thank you.
Aaron. We like, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Jones. Aaron, hold on. In those top 10 running backs, I won't ask who you think you're better than because that's setting you up to be in a terrible position. But who are some running backs around the league that you watch and that you're like, I like the way they operate, or maybe I can take some things from their game and maybe add it to mine?
Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook. I feel like those are kind of some of the guys that are similar to me. They do it all. They catch it out the backfield. They can run. Joe Mixon as well. He catches pretty well and out of the backfield. And those guys are explosive when they get the ball in their hands. And that's what I look to be as the home run hitter. And every time I get the ball in my hands, I want to do something special with it. 2,300
yards last year. Nothing to sneeze at. Ladies and gentlemen, going into his contract year for the Green Bay Packers, co-leader of rushing touchdowns last year, Aaron Jones. Thank you, Aaron. Cheers, man. The whole family came out.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Thank you. Cool family down there in
yeah.
El Paso. Hey, El Paso, ball flies down there. It's like Denver. Very elevated. The ball goes a long, long, long way. There was somebody that went to UTEP, University of Texas, El Paso, who's a kicker punter that was just bombing balls. And I was like, this guy is a machine. Then you look at the elevation. It's like, oh, it's pretty high up there, I think. I think El Paso's pretty high. I still respect it. Let's not get crazy. I like Aaron Jones a lot. I'm happy he made it happen.
Kid.
He is a good guy. Going into a contract year, too. That is a very weird thing. Like Ben Roethlisberger, there was an entire narrative that he wasn't a good leader or a veteran or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, man, like, listen, this is a business, okay? I will try to answer as many questions as I possibly can, but I have to worry about my ass too, trying to figure it out. No matter what year it is, I have to figure it out. It's a tough expectation to fill because a lot of people just expect that veteran to go ahead and hand over every single thing they've learned in their 15-year, 10-year career, 6-year career. And it's like, well, hold on now. There is a little business that has to be in on this thing. And am I supposed to be the coach now, not the other? It's a very weird thing, especially with how the media covers it depending upon who it is.
Especially because he's a veteran, but he's only 25 years old. Like
Aaron Rodgers, for instance. However him and Jordan Love's relationship goes this year, there will be people that are like, oh, he could have taught Jordan Love more. He wasn't as nice to Jordan Love. It's like, you ever think, or maybe he was over, like he said he's going to do this. It's not Jordan Love's fault, obviously, and I think he's come out and said he can't wait to work with him and he'll answer any question that he has and all that, which is the right move. But, man, when it's a Wednesday or a Thursday and it's like third down day and Aaron's got a lot to focus on, if he's not answering every single one of Jordan Love's questions and somehow that gets out, the media will be like, Aaron Rodgers trying to run Jordan Love out of the building. It's like, well, maybe he's just trying to do his job to his ability and saying, hey, follow what I'm doing. Let's go ahead and get it. It's a very weird thing that the media expect of people to teach their potential replacements, especially in a business whenever they're trying to get better as well. It's very, very weird.
Especially when competition is key. It's like you don't want to be setting this guy up to take your job. I mean, and then it'll also be very interesting to see what they do this year because last year, like you said, he was the featured back. He was pretty much a 3-down back. And this year, when you draft a guy that high, like I assume that he's going to take quite a few carries from him.
Yeah, he's going to get the ball. He's a little bit more of a thumper.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He's a little bit more of a thumper, so maybe keep the Aaron Jones moving out of the backfield, first, second down, third and short, third and little, third and medium. Maybe bring in Thumper a little bit. Maybe take a little bit of weight off of Aaron Jones' shoulder, to be honest. But also let Aaron Jones know that we do have another guy younger that we do like. So it's kind of a fine balance here.
And he's got to worry about himself because it's been a couple months, but you went through the free agent running backs this offseason, and it is a lot of them.
Yeah, that's why Dalvin Cook wanted the extension.
Yes.
Dalvin Cook wanted the extension now because next offseason, the running back free agency market is like the quarterback free agency market was this year. Massive names from top to bottom. And I don't know how everybody's going to get paid. It's going to be just like the Jameis Winston situation going into the quarterback free agency this year. There is going to be a litany of running backs that are going into the free agency market next year. Aaron Jones is going to double down and have another great year. We appreciate him for joining us. We got to get to our second break in the second hour here of this radio show that is happening in a few stations across the country. On the other side, we'll wrap up hour 2 and the show with conversations about NBA. The NBA bubble has been penetrated. Has it been penetrated by people trying to get penetrated? We don't know yet, but we do know there was an effort to get a penetrated person into the bubble already. Mm-hmm. We do know that Postmates, DoorDash, Uber Eats allegedly has been delivering to the boys down there, which would be a breach in the bubble. And as opposed to yelling at the NBA players and tell them to shut off the outside world, which could be tough down there. What we're saying is they need to shut it down outside in Orlando. Mm-hmm. Turn off the geo everything for anything that could potentially get in there because we want and need the NBA back, especially down there in that bubble. Could be an electric couple days with the NHL and the NBA coming back. Sounds like training camp will be happening, though, from Aaron Jones' conversation.
Love that.
Sounds like the NFLPA Zoom calls have been like, hey, this is the potential guidelines. This is potentially what's going to happen. They haven't run through the day in, day out of it all. But it feels like there's a lot of optimism, which is good for us because we're starting to turn a little bit, thinking maybe since there's only 13 days until vets are supposed to report to training camp and there's been nothing done yet, we're getting a little pessimistic. But guess what? Back on that optimism train. 40 minutes after the hour, we're back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
Lakers, welcome to the Blender, the home of a team and a fan base on a playoff push the likes the world has never seen before. Crescent City, get on your feet for tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Sprite, an incredibly refreshing drink. Starting at forward was the number 2 overall pick in the 2016 NBA draft. Now he's second NBA All-Star, Brandon Ingram. At forward, this man has been dunking on little white kids on the internet for 10 years. The incomparable, unstoppable, 6'6" phenom, Zion Williamson. At center, standing at 8 feet tall, from Georgia Tech, number 22, Derek Favors. This man's family had a reality show in Lithuania. He was born and raised in LA, but he found his J in Vienna. Lonzo Ball. And the OG of the roster. On the court, he's a monster. Braids hanging, shots banging. It's not Drew, it's Drew Holiday. Let's get this done. Thank you very much. Go Pelicans. Tired of me right now. That's how you play basketball. This will be a 5-bowler from the Red Panda. Up we go. Yes! 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 Red Panda! What a legendary moment. You're a legend. It's an honor. Mission accomplished, right? Come down, intro some players, throw some bowls to Red Panda, fly back to Indianapolis. Success story, Foxy. What a fucking night.
Ray J in the house, y'all. Hey. Everybody needs a great pair of wireless earbuds. And you already know, Raycon earbuds start about half the price.
It's true.
That's true. Hey, very true what you just said there.
Amen to that.
Amen. Hey.
Hey.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Half the prices of any other premium wireless earbuds on the market. And that they sound just as amazing as other top audio brands you know. Thank you, guys.
I feel like that was a improper pause, but that's on us for leaving it hanging there.
There was no period or anything at the end.
So that means you're probably supposed to keep doing.
Oh.
We just figured it out.
Classic.
We just figured it out.
Their newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds, are their best ones yet, with 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, and a more compact design that gives you a nice noise-isolating fit. It sounds cool. Raycon's wireless earbuds are so comfortable. How comfortable are they? Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts.
Nice.
Oh,
We
yeah.
love binging podcasts. Love them.
You've heard me talking about how the company was co-founded by Ray J. That's why I started with Ray J in the house, y'all.
Oh, because
Yep.
Raycon.
Yes.
Ray J. Got
Yeah.
it. Thank God it's not founded by Nick Cannon.
Drumline, good movie though.
Drumline was a good movie.
Yeah,
Wow Now, good show for a long time.
yeah. Cal Williams made it.
Hates the whites, I guess, as well.
Yeah, not a big fan.
Not a big fan of the whites.
And celebrities like Snoop Dogg, Cardi B,
Jeez.
Melissa Etheridge, Brandy, J.R. Smith,
Swish.
are obsessed with the Raycons. Now, the time to see what the hype is all about.
Had a baby seat.
I'm calling action real quick.
I mean, this has been maybe your best read yet.
Thank you.
No problem.
Get 15% off for your order at buyraycon.com/Pat. That's buyraycon.com/Pat for 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds. Buyraycon.com/Pat.
Attaboy. Z.
Thank you.
Maybe your best reading yet. Couple awkward stops.
No periods.
Couple awkward stops. Let's go to David in Ohio. What's going on over there in Ohio, David?
Hey, boys. How's it going?
Hey, great. How are you, bub?
Good.
Good.
Shout out to Connor's jersey. Said he's not getting enough love today. So.
Oh, he said that to you on the
I
phone.
just didn't say
Telling
that.
people what to say.
Here we go
What's
again.
going on?
That you tell me, bub.
It's a nice jersey, man.
You haven't even seen it. You've literally, if you're watching the show, you've only seen the top of it. You have no idea what the rest of it even looks like.
Thanks, David.
That's a
Had no response for that.
Appreciate
one. You
it,
got him.
David.
that's a top 5.
Why are you telling people what to
I'm
say?
not. I'm not. After that one time where I told the kid what to say and then he said
you
that I
stole-
stole it,
Yeah.
that was the last time I've suggested a thing to these callers.
Let's talk about the bubble down in Orlando with the NBA. Spencer Dinwiddie came out and said, hey, there's only a couple rules here. He talked to Taylor Rooks from Bleacher Report, and the conversation went like this.
Any words for anybody in the bubble?
Yeah, to all my fellow NBA players, don't call the snitch hotline.
Obviously. Don't do that.
Don't cross the line to get Postmates.
Need that.
Don't fly LA work out.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
And last but not least, the Brooklyn Nets are coming for you. That's
Don't
the
think
word.
that's true, but everything else seemed to be accurate there. That is the sentiment. I would assume that whenever a majority of the NBA guys are probably adhering to all the rules, obviously. Then you hear a couple of these outside stories where there's ladies saying they're already getting invited to the bubble. There's Postmates situations happening. And there's a lot of guys probably talking in the lounge about it all like, boys, come on, we got to tighten this thing up. And then they're like, well, that's what the snitch hotline's for. And then everybody in the room was like, listen, nobody's using that son of a bitch snitch line. Okay, we don't need that. Let's go ahead and protect this thing down. We're only 5 days into this, though. Okay, the losing teams that don't make the playoffs, okay, they're in for at least 35 to 40 days. This is going to be intriguing as we roll this thing out. We'll see if the no snitch hotline, the don't cross the line, don't fly thoughts work is still a motto. 15 days into this, 20 days into this, but boy, this bubble in NBA down in Orlando needs to remain clean for the good of everything sports holy in our world right now.
For people using the snitch hotline already, dumb. You wait until the
Have
playoffs
people
start.
using it?
Yeah, that's Shams. That's what Shams said. That multiple reports have come in.
I wonder who's calling. Those aren't the players, obviously.
But you gotta wait till
you
it
wait until it
matters.
matters for sure. You wait until it matters. You saw LeBron doing what? Yeah, of course you did. There's going to be 15 people that call in LeBron. LeBron's out there doing jumping jacks with DoorDash driver outside there. Lock him down for at least the next 10 weeks if we have to do it. I guess Austin Rivers came out and put a video out that said LeBron ain't staying where we're staying, man. LeBron, by the way, probably he might have Cinderella's castle or the castle, the entire top floor up there, because that is what LeBron is to the entire thing. But boy, I hope the NBA can lock it down down. I hope the NHL can lock it down. And I hope within the next 13 days, the NFL figures out how they're going to lock it down, because it feels like sports this fall is going to be unbelievable. Just guzzling down sports beer bongs right to the mouth from beginning to end. Starting July 29th, the AFL Aussie Rules football will have 19 consecutive days with games. 33 of them will be played. The MLS plays in the morning and at night. The NHL will be playing multiple games a day. The NBA will be playing multiple games a day. And there'll be news out of the NFL. I mean, August 1 through the rest of the fall is set up to be the greatest time to be a sports fan in the history of sports, if we can get there without being penetrated by the COVID-19 pain in the ass.
Don't forget, are you still a big baseball guy?
Big baseball guy.
Oh, yeah.
MLB also
Oh, yeah,
happening.
we'll have games.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that the MLB will also be happening.
You bet.
So the MLB will be happening, NHL will be happening, NBA will be happening, MLS will be happening, the AFL will be happening, and the NFL will be happening all at the same damn time. You say, Pat, what about college football? Let me tell you about college football. Feels like college football is not going to happen. The SEC has come out and delayed every fall sport except for football. We're not giving up on football just yet, but every other sport that we potentially don't make millions and millions of dollars off of, both via television rights and everything else, we will delay that to the spring. Soccer's, see you later. Volleyball, see you later. But we're not going to give a decision on football, because football, it's different down here in the SEC. But it feels like that is potentially the first step into colleges making decisions about fall sports that we don't want to see happen, but are probably inevitable.
No! Yeah, I think we've already kind of come to the conclusion it's not going to happen, right?
I
I'm operating under the assumption that there will not be college football this year.
Me too. And it's a bummer, because we just got into college football last year heavy.
Yeah.
And I became a big college football fan. But it sure feels like that is not going to happen. You know, campuses are a much different place than NFL stadiums that are completely empty and NFL facilities that are completely empty. And I think those are the rules they're going to have to operate on. But let's set aside that negativity, all the positivity of all the other sports coming back. We just have to get there and see if it can happen. Wednesday, July 15th, keep your eyes peeled for any franchise tag and team deals happening before 4 o'clock. A lot of people said that won't happen. A lot of money being made. We'll be back manana, July 16th, with the same Pat time, same Pat channel, same Pat show. Cheers. Okay, radio show not too shabby there today. I don't think we swore at all.
No.
We still have tech issues with the radio folks, which is something that will have to get figured out. Allegedly, it's on their end, not on our end, which would be the first time.
Yeah,
That's not us fucking something up, so it kind of makes me feel good. Joining us now is our intern with a mullet to recap everything that we talked about for the last hour and 54 minutes. Mullet Mitts Minutes. Go ahead, Mitt.
All right, we started off the show today hammering through some franchise tag football news. More to come in the second hour.
Yeah.
We talked about the AFL having 33 games coming up in a 19-day period 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
When also the NBA, NHL, MLS, and other sports are also going on. NHL schedule has been released, and the Penguins, led by the GOAT, Sidney Crosby, are playing on prime time opening night.
Yep.
Let's get ready to beer box some sports. We got Cam Newton. Cam Newton is circling teams on his calendar while Bill Belichick's eating Subway Sammys in public.
Yeah.
We'll all have to wait and see how this mesh works.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, me too.
Me
too, man.
Yeah.
Pumped.
Manscaped ad. Good job, Diggs.
Thank you.
We had golf legend David Ferretti join the show.
All right.
God.
Guy Fieri joined the show.
David Ferretti.
Will you call Gumpy so we can get his looks? Gumpy's on right now. That was just
David Ferretti.
You spit right in his face 10 times now at this point.
That's how I Googled the pronunciation so I wouldn't mess it up.
Where do you get Ferretti from that?
You could have listened to Pat say it a bunch of times.
Yeah, Mr. Faraday. It's actually a TV series going into its 10th season.
We had Guy Fieri on the show today.
Google fucked me on that.
No, Google, huh? Google fucked you on that one. That's
Listen to even Zeke's cackling.
Okay, if it's pronunciation FAIR dash
fair.
ET dash EE.
Faraday.
We had David Fieri on the show today. Guy's brother.
So pronounce FAIR.
Fair.
Okay. Pronounce it.
Well, it's E.T.
Oh, my.
Et. Ferretti.
Fuck.
Ferrie.
There shouldn't be another dash.
I'm
You had a
with you
good
on
go.
this,
You had a good go. And
Always
Ferretti
the name.
and Ferretti was electric. I hope we have him back on, although you just spit on his face right there by saying his name wrong.
ancestors.
Guy's been on TV for 25 years, 2.5 decades.
Longer than Tiger.
Won a championship fucking blind hungover, he said. Unbelievable. Puked 2 times on the course, still got a dub for this booze bag to yell at him and call him the wrong name. Unbelievable.
I blame Google.
All right, McAfee and Hawk, maybe you'll have a better go. That will be at 1 o'clock. Joining us right now is our Canadian friend who's locked in Canada because of the quarantine. Will be joining us as soon as possible. As soon as America says somebody can travel in here and work here from Canada, which might be a while, he'll be joining us. But he has a big brain when it comes to soccer gambling. Joining us from Canada, our friend Gumpy.
Hey, pal.
Hey, pal.
I'm locked in Canada, so here's some of my lock.
Let's lock it in there, Gumpy.
Here you go,
Good to
Gump.
see you, Bob. I
How
like
we
the.
doing?
Look at that backdrop. Good beard, by the way. We got a championship. It looks like maybe the Intercontinental Championship up there.
We got the Intercontinental and the Heavyweight Championship today, Pat.
Well, you got the Ultimate Warrior over your left shoulder. You got a.
Vancouver Canucks goalies mask.
Wow, look at you. You're very Canadian right now. Loves wrestling, loves hockey. There's a soccer ball behind you. We got some UFC mitts. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Wow. Basketball, too.
Look, there's 4-ounce gloves.
Setup.
Oh, yeah, this is serious stuff.
What are your bets here? What do we got? What are we betting on? What are we making money off of?
We got 2 games today and 2 tomorrow, Pat.
Okay.
Today we're going Burnley +1 against Wolverhampton. Burnley hasn't lost in 5. They're 6-1-3 against the spread their last 10, and they haven't conceded a goal in the last 2 games.
Okay, Burnley over +1 over Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
Okay. That's an interesting name. I didn't know they existed.
The Wolves.
Definitely betting.
Well, Wolves are a very good team, but they've been on a bit of a schneid. They've lost 2 of 3.
Oh, a little bit of a schneid up there over there in Wolverton. Okay, who's next?
We're going to the Serie A. We're taking Napoli money line. 7-2-1 their last 10. Bologna hasn't won in 2, and they're 4-6-6 at home.
Is Napoli the one old buddy was just blowing through all the cocaine at?
Diego Maradona, yes.
Yeah, so hey, they're a good soccer team, and there's a good party atmosphere around there too. From what I've learned, he was doing all the cocaine while playing soccer, just living his best life and winning. By the way,
Respectfully so.
I don't think he ever did cocaine; just smelled it every night.
Yeah.
A lot of good headers.
Accidentally.
Do you want to give us the 2 for tomorrow, or do you want to come back tomorrow and give us these 2 so we can judge you on these 2 tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll come back tomorrow.
Okay.
We got a full slate tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Big one.
Big
one.
Oh, really? We're making big money tomorrow.
Big money.
Have you been betting on the MLS? Yeah, FanDuel's giving out money right now. That a boy. Shout out FanDuel up there in Canada. I don't think you can bet on it, but I like that you're giving locks down here in America to 5 states. Do you bet on the MLS at all? I've been watching it.
I'm having a tough time. It's an absolute crapshoot right now.
Well, you have no idea who's going to completely whiff on the ball, and there's going to be a 5-person fast man break against nobody somehow in a professional soccer thing. And then flip it around the other side. There'll be the greatest expedition of skill that you've ever seen in your life. The MLS has been a lot of fun to watch, actually.
The goalies could be a bit of an issue.
In the MLS?
They're out for a hot dog at least 3 times a game.
That one guy, there's a breakaway, and guy just starts sprinting the opposite direction. It makes no sense. What are you doing? It's fun to watch, though. I enjoy
There's
it.
back-to-back red cards. They're running out of their net with their hands everywhere. It's good, though, man. All day, all night.
All right, so Burnley +1 and Napoli money line. Those are the 2 locks from our friend in Canada today. Can't wait to talk to you again tomorrow when you say you got a full fucking lineup, huh?
You got it, pal. Big day tomorrow. Let's get these wins today.
Hey, look at that super sporty backdrop you got there.
Seriously.
Super sporty.
That thing. That's the actual heavyweight belt. Like, that's the real deal.
Gumpy, we appreciate you, brother. Have a good one.
You too, boys. Miss you, fellas.
Miss you,
Hey,
pal.
miss you too, pal. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. That was locks from our friend Gumpy.
Hey, pal. I'm locked in Canada, so here's some of my locks.
Son of a bitch does know soccer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He really does.
Oh, yeah.
His betting records in soccer are outrageous, and I would assume these ones, Burnley +1 and Napoli moneyline, will be good for today, and then we'll get him back manana. McAfee and Hawk starts in 59 minutes. We'll see you back here at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're trying to get to a millionaire. I have a millionaire. Chinchilla hair, something like that. Sicilian hair. Lil Wayne used to go very ham.
Yeah.
Then he went to jail, find a skateboard, a little bit different music on the other side.
Rockstar.
But boy, he used to go ham back in the day. He'd hit any song with a Wayne train, and that shit's going straight to number 1.
6'7"
guy.
Yeah, that was back in the day. That's a nostalgia voting for you, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
I play hip hop barbecue radio on Pandora, and it rides right through the 50 Cent era, right through the Eminem era, right through the Lil Wayne era, right through the Dr. Dre era. Tupac will get in there every once in a while.
Damn.
It is a
where you can cut it
great
off.
channel. It's a great channel. Hey, no, there's a couple good rappers nowadays. Mm-hmm. There's a couple.
Yeah.
Who's that guy that made that song just a couple weeks ago that I said was Absolute Flames?
Lil Baby.
Lil Baby.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
I think he has a chance to really kill it.
Don't throw one.
The Baby too.
The Baby too.
Uncle Sam.
Uncle
Big
Sam.
Big
Uncle Sam. We're getting lit. All right, 58 minutes. We're back. This has been the Pat McAfee Show, Wednesday, July 15th.